I've been asked recently by several people about music and chords and how to play better, how to play some stringed instruments. I'm no expert by any means, but I thought I'd go ahead and offer up what I know, mostly for the benefit of the people who have actually asked me about it. I'll send a link to this, but anyone else who comes across of it, of course, you're welcome to the information as well. At least whatever good it can do, whatever you can glean from it. The three basic things that I came up with when I thought through it all about chords and creating chords that you need to know about. Number one, what's a musical scale and what's it look like? That's kind of your chiefly most important thing. If you know enough about that, just go ahead and skip ahead. If not, if you don't know where your sharps and flats or your half steps, whole steps are, then hang out, we'll chat about this real quick. Number two, how do you build a chord? Once you know where your half steps, whole steps are, how do you actually use that to build a chord, and what's a chord actually made of? What's it look like? And then finally, number three, which chords are most commonly used? Because there are definitely some really basic chords that are used all the time, and so we can talk about that as well. So without further ado, dive right in. Number one, what's a musical scale look like? Well, first off, I guess, the musical alphabet. It uses 7 letters, A through G. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, backwards G, F, E, D, C, D, C, B, A. Your most common major scale, if you play it with no sharps and no flats, so none of the black keys, it's going to start on the letter C. And so to read that alphabet, it's going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And so what that does is, you'll notice if you go from one key to the next, whether it be a black key to a white, or a white to a black, or just a white to a white, it's going to be 1/2 of a step. And so two of those together is a whole step. So you'll notice that there's a black key in between everything except in 2 places. And so in those 2 places, we're just traveling 1/2 of a step, going from one white key to the next white key. And that's going to be between E and F and B and C. And so that, if we change it to numbers and we count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the half steps in a major scale fall between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. Knowing this is what allows you to put a major scale wherever you want to put it. Because no matter what note you start on here, if you play all whole steps except for between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8, you're going to play a major scale. So if we start on G, A, B, C, that's 3 and 4, D, E. Now we need another whole step here because we're not to 7 and 8 yet. So we've got to jump up to the F sharp, and then 7 and 8, F sharp to G is our half step. So there's your major scale starting on G is going to give you a F sharp in it, and that's where your accidentals come in. Again, that's important because that's what defines that as a major scale. That's also actually what kind of lets you play around with it if you want to go into major and minor. If you want to turn it into a minor scale, then your half steps fall in different places. You can actually get into, they've got 7 different modes that you can play on they're all defined by where those half steps fall. Anyway, that's another topic for a whole nother discussion. That's well beyond the scope of what we're going for here. But it does get really fun when you get into that stuff. At any rate, to go ahead and translate that over to a fretted instrument, if you look at, for instance, a guitar here, see if we can get all the way to the end. There we go. Each of these frets is 1/2 of a step. So to go from an open string is a half step, half step, half step, half step. So again, we can play a major scale right here. As long as we remember 3 and 4 and 7 and 8 are going to be the half steps. So 1, 2, 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So from the beginning again. So we get all in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's how we played a major scale. Right there we just did it on one string, just on the E string. And so it was an E scale, E major. Easy enough, right?